Hey, thanks for coming back for part 2 of Start. I'm so glad that you decided to journey on with us and take the second part of Start. It's good to have you connect with us and check these videos out. Today, I wanted to open up by asking you a question, and that is this: who are you? And I know if I asked you that and we're standing face to face, you could tell me your name, you could tell me where you live, you could tell me what you do, you could tell me things about yourself that make up who you are. But today I want to talk very specifically about a few things that make up who you are, make up who I am. And one of those things is our past. Our past determines our present, and our present determines our future. Now, we all know that there is nothing that we can do about our past. What's in the past is just that, it's in the past. But I have noticed that the way we think about the past changes from time to time. Now, let me illustrate this point. When I was a kid and I wanted some candy or I wanted some gum, my parents were always there to let me have a little bit. But my dad always said everything in moderation. Now, I just assumed this meant that they were mean and they didn't want me to have, basically any fun or any candy. Well, as I've gotten older and I have kids of my own, I understand that they weren't being mean, because as I've had to tell my kids, no, you can't have 17 pieces of chocolate, 1 or 2 will be plenty. I do that because moderation is important. I care about their health, I care about their teeth, and it's good for everyone to learn some self-discipline. So my experience as I've gotten older, as I've learned more, I look back on my past and I see it in a different way. I view it with a different lens, and that is happening to us all the time. We view the past and we see who we were, and sometimes that brings us shame and guilt. Sometimes it brings us joy. Sometimes it brings us all these different emotions. But what I want you to know is the way that you think about the past changes as you change. And what you think about yourself right now also influences the future. For example, our thoughts create actions. These actions develop habits in our lives, and these habits develop character. And this character in our life determines our destiny. So where did our destiny come from? It all started with our thoughts, the things we think about, the way we view our past, the way we view our future, and whether we think that there's hope for us in the future. That determines who we are. It shapes our identity. Romans 8:28 says, "And we know that in all things God works for the good of those who love Him and have been called according to His purpose." So I want you to know, no matter who you are, no matter what you've done, we love you and accept you just as you are. I feel that God has a good plan for you, and even though it may not be easy, I know that your future is brighter than your past, and He can change the way you see your past so that you can continue to grow into the future. So that's one of the things when we talk about who we are. We talk about our past and our present and our future. We also talk about our core values. Our core values are basically what God has hardwired into us. It's really something that is hardwired into our heart that we care deeply about. Proverbs 29:18 says, "Where there is no vision, where there is no revelation, the people perish or cast off restraint." And so you and I, as people who follow God, or maybe you're just learning about what all of this means, I want you to know that you have values in your life. You have core values in your life that you stand up for. For example, in our household, in the Carmody household, one thing that is absolutely a core value in our life is honesty. You met my wife in part 1, or maybe you saw her in that video as we talked together about who New Covenant is. But I want you to know that one of the values that we hold is honesty. I tell you what, you want to make my wife mad? The best thing that you can do to make her mad is to lie. I kid you not, that is one thing that it doesn't drive her to the edge, it pushes her clean over. She cannot stand when people lie. And so in our household, we place honesty at a premium. It is super, super important for us to be honest with one another and to express ourselves in an honest way. And so what core values do you have? Think about that. We have our church values, but we also have personal values. And so be thinking about the values that shape who you are. Another thing that shapes who we are is our God-given gifts, our God-given talents. Some people, not me, are very athletic or inclined to sports. You're just good. You pick up any kind of ball or any kind of bat or racket or anything and magic happens, right? There's some that they can pick up any kind of instrument. And you're like, my goodness, they've been playing for years and they just started playing last week, right? For some, they're very gifted at communicating or very gifted at writing or able to do some skilled position or whatever it may be. And we all have gifts. We all have talents that God has given us that are unique to us. And not only that, He's given us spiritual gifts. He's given us motivational gifts that we get to use for the good of others, for the good of the church. For example, for me, He's given me a pastor's heart, one to shepherd and guide and protect and to watch over the people that He has entrusted to me to watch over. And so He's given me a pastor's heart. And I got to be honest, that is something that continues to develop, that continues to grow in my life. It's not just like wham, bam, I'm done, but He's given me that, not as a talent, but as a gift. He's put that and placed that inside of me. And maybe you're wondering, you have some natural aptitudes, you have some natural giftings, but you're saying, I wonder what my motivational gift is. I wonder what my spiritual gift is. Well, on the links to the right, you can find a link to a survey for motivational gifts, for spiritual gifts. And so I'd encourage you, if you're interested in those things, to check that out. So here's the thing. Since our future is shaped by our present, you and I, we should both desire to grow. We say that we're a diverse community of people transformed by the love of Jesus Christ. You and I should continue to transform. So I want you to imagine with me for a minute, I want you to imagine your life 5 years from now. I want you to imagine your future self. What do you want that person to look like? What is God leading you into? In 5 years from now, what does your future self look like? And then here's a question. What growth needs to happen in order for that future version of yourself to come alive? I think there's a lot of areas where we could grow in, and I want to highlight a few. One area that we can grow in is our relationship with Jesus Christ. Now, whether you're watching this video and you're just trying to understand more about the church and our climate and our culture, and maybe you're just wanting to know more about Jesus and who He is, and maybe you're new to all of this stuff, or maybe you've been in church your whole life. It doesn't matter where you're at on the spectrum, from not knowing Jesus at all to spending the last 4 decades with Him. We all can grow in our relationship with Jesus Christ. We can read our Bibles every day. We can pray. If you've never read a Bible, you could start there and pick up a Bible and begin reading. I would encourage you to start reading in John chapter 1. And you could begin to read. You could begin to pray. Or you could make your prayer life even more robust. Maybe it's stepping into community or joining a community group. Maybe it's serving in the church. You've been attending church forever, but you don't serve. My question to you is, why not? Start serving, start giving, be obedient to what God has for you to do. Another way that we can grow is in our relationships with people. That's right, our relationships with people. I've heard it said that if you show me your friends, I'll show you your future, right? The people we hang out with end up kind of becoming who we become. The people we spend time with is who we end up becoming. And so we become like the people we surround ourselves with. And so I would encourage you to ask yourself 4 questions. All right, ask yourself these questions. And these will help you grow in your relationships. The first one is, what relationships need to be initiated? Now, we're doing Start completely online. You're watching a screen. I don't know who's watching this video, but I do know that it's important that relationships be initiated. Now, if you ever attend church in person, you come to New Covenant in person, and you just kind of sit there and you just kind of look around at everybody, and I pray, I hope that somebody comes to you and talks to you and wants to know your name and wants to know a little bit about you. But here's the thing, if that doesn't happen, I would encourage you, yes, you, to get up out of that seat and go talk to someone. What relationship needs to be initiated? Now, if you just watch us online and you're learning more about us, and it's like, man, I'd really like to meet this staff person, or I'd really like to know more about it, or I'd really like to have a connection and just have a conversation with someone there at the church. Well, listen, you can email us. You can contact us. The links and the information is to the right of this video. If you want to get a hold of us, we are available. So ask yourself, what relationship needs to be initiated? Here's another question to ask yourself. What relationship needs to be nurtured? All right. So maybe you have a high priority relationship, a family member or a friend or a close friend, but you've grown apart. What priority relationship in your life needs to be nurtured? Right? Maybe a phone call, maybe a text message. We live in a time where we are more disconnected, even though we're more socially connected with apps and all these different things. As a people, we are more disconnected. We are more isolated. We are more alone. So ask yourself, what relationships do I need to nurture? A third question to ask yourself is, what relationships in my life need to be restored? Now, this could be where you're holding on to some unforgiveness, some bitterness. You're like, I cannot believe what this person did or whatever. Listen, here's the thing. The pain of an unresolved conflict is greater than the pain of confrontation. The pain of unresolved conflict is greater than the pain of confrontation. If there is someone in your life, if there's a relationship in your life that needs to be restored, I would encourage you to confront that situation. Don't run from it. Don't hide from it. Don't run away from it, because unresolved conflict is painful. It's that bitterness, that unforgiveness, and it just sits inside of you and stews and festers, and it's ugly. And so I would encourage you to restore that relationship if you can, at least try. And then finally, the fourth question is, what relationship needs to be severed? Now this is the end. This is like kind of the end of the relationship, right? And this is something we come to at the very end. We don't go to this right away, but there are some relationships that need to end. 1 Corinthians 15:33 says, bad company corrupts good character. Again, you show me your friends, I'll show you your future. What relationships need to be severed? Another area where we can grow is in our financial life. Really? We're going to talk about money? Yeah, we can talk about money. We can grow in our relationship with Jesus, our relationship with others, and in our finances. So you ask yourself, what can I do with money? Well, I feel like there's three things that you can do with money. You can spend it. Pretty sure we all know how to do that. Give it, right? We can give our money away, and we can invest it, whether that's in a savings account or an investment account or whatever it looks like for you. But we can give, we can save, and we can spend. Look at Proverbs 21:5. It says, the plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be led to poverty. I want to be led to profit. And so the diligent are led to profit. And the haste, when we go about things, when we get rich quick and try this and try that and maneuver, we end up in poverty. When we make quick decisions, when we make irrational decisions, it leads us to poverty. So what about, we all know how to spend. We all know how to spend money, but what about giving? What about saving? Again, you imagine your future self 5 years from now. Do you want to be more of a saver than you are today? I mean, maybe you want to be debt-free. Maybe you want to give twice as much to others in 5 years than you do today. I don't know what it is, but your financial life, there's always room to grow. Whatever it is for you, there's always room to grow. Another area where we can grow is our physical life, right? Our body, our emotions, our mental health. We can grow, because here's the thing, a healthy body, a healthy mind will move and equip us to live out God's purpose for our lives. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean getting plenty of sleep, eating good food, right? That's important. Exercising, working out, fasting, praying. You say, really? Fasting and praying? Man, that is great for our spiritual health. That is great for our mental health. That is good for our body. So do those things. 1 Corinthians 6:19-20 says, do you not know that your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit? Therefore, honor God with your body. Your body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. Therefore, honor God with your body. So ask yourself, in what ways can I better take care of my body, this temple that God has given me? What do I want to look like in 5 years? How do I want to think in 5 years? What kind of rest do I want? My future self, what do I envision for myself? You can grow in your physical life. Another area of growth is in our work life. Now, maybe you're watching this today and you find yourself out of a job. Maybe you find yourself in a really good job. Maybe you find yourself in between jobs or thinking about switching your job. Here's the thing. We work to pay bills, but hopefully there's more purpose in our work than that. God has given you the ability to work, and so your work can be an expression of God to this world. Colossians 3:23 says, whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as working for the Lord and not for human masters. Not for human bosses, not for human supervisors. We have those. We have bosses. We have supervisors. We have people that manage us and watch over us, right? We do. And whether you like them or not, whether you agree with them or not, does not matter, because your work that you can do, you do it for God alone. Work for Him, not for a human master, not for a human boss, not just for the paycheck, not just the 9 to 5 or the weekends or the swing shifts or whatever it is that you're doing. You work for God. 110% you work for Him. So these are some areas where we can grow. These are some areas that help define us and shape who we are. And I hope that you attending church, that you watching online or gathering in person or going through this START material, I hope that you're encouraged to transform. I hope that you're encouraged to change, to grow in one of these areas. And so I have some next steps for you before you watch the third part of START. I want you to ask yourself a few questions. I've been asking you a lot of questions, and you can always go back and rewatch or jot them down or whatever you need to do. But ask yourself some questions. What are my core values? What's hardwired into my heart? What's hardwired into my soul? What are some of my core values? Ask yourself that. And ask yourself, how is my relationship with Jesus? Is it growing? Is it kind of stale? What's my relationship like with other people? I mean, ask yourself these things. Ask yourself this: what area or areas in my life do I need the most growth so that I can be the best future version of myself? And what areas do I need to grow so that I can be the best future version of myself? I would encourage you to write these questions down, to write some answers, to pray, to think about it, to fast, to spend some time talking to God and saying, God, what do you have for my life? And then I would encourage you to set some goals, right? I mean, to actually write some of these things down. Yeah, in 3 years, I want to be debt free. Or in 6 months, I want to lose 15 pounds. Or in 6 months, I want to gain 10 pounds. I don't know, whatever it is for you, but write some of those goals down. Put some action, put some purpose behind those thoughts. And as always, contact us. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to initiate, right? What relationships need to be initiate that conversation. Reach out to us. We love you. We care about you. We are so glad that you're spending time with us, journeying with us through START, looking at this material, growing and learning. And I hope as a final step that you'll watch the third part of START. And I hope to see you next time.